We're joined on the line by Andy Ngo. He is the editor-at-large of Post-Millennial, independent journalist and photographer dedicated to covering topics related to the far left and hate crime hoaxes. He's the author of a piece over at Real Clear Politics today, or at least linked by Real Clear Politics, talking about a supposed racist threat and attacks that threatened a California university. It turns out they were all fake. Andy, thanks so much for joining the show.
My pleasure. The report was actually on Newsweek, by the way.
Yes, thank you. So why don't you talk to me about what exactly happened here? There was originally a big controversy over at Laverne University, a suggestion that there had been some sort of racist incident, and it turns out that it's probably not true. So what exactly happened here?
So just about a year ago, starting in February of 2019 at the University of Laverne. Laverne is this small city in LA County, middle class. It was rattled by a series of really shocking claims of racist death threats and even violence directed at students of color. It started in February 2019, where there was a racist death threat that was sent to the two leaders of the Decolonize University of Laverne student group. And the threat was signed with the imagery of a fraternity. And it included a photograph of social justice activist students on campus and made threats on their life. The administration immediately moved to gather all the people who were threatened, and it provided additional security, rides, accommodated them a lot. The following day, one of the co-leaders of that decolonized student group found her car emitting smoke because the backpack inside it was set on fire. So this caused a panic on campus. And the backdrop of this is that for months now, this particular student group and the students who were allegedly threatened were claiming that the university environment was so racist that it tolerates white supremacy, and they had many demands that they had of the administration. They wanted, of course, more money for diversity, inclusion, equity. They wanted tenure to be tied to competency of diversity, so on and so forth. And the university was kind of giving them breadcrumbs, but they weren't giving them this radical change. And then suddenly there was this onslaught of all these vicious hate crimes. And then it escalated. By May 2019, the main student organizer, Anayeli Dominguez Pena, the same one who said that her car was set on fire, she claimed that while in a dorm on campus, that a masked individual had beat her and groped her and nearly killed her, wrapped the rope around her neck. And the entire community rallied in support of her. They believed her. And the graduation ceremony was entirely muted because the student body actually believed that there were violent racists still at large. Well, after a whole year of investigations involving not just the local police department, but the FBI and various other agencies, they announced last month that Anayeli Dominguez Pena, the woman who claimed to be the victim of all this, was actually the perpetrator, and she's been charged with numerous felony and misdemeanor charges related to electronic impersonation, fraud, filing false police reports. So she is actually heading to court today, the 14th. Today's her first court date. And so the story, I focused on it because this has become a pattern now. We're seeing social justice activists, particularly on university campuses, being the perpetrators of hate crime hoaxes.
Yep. And Andy, we have seen this repeatedly. You've been covering it over at Newsweek and over at the Post-Millennial. Really appreciate your work on this. Again, these sorts of stories are cropping up at campuses all over the United States, and it's why it is not out of the realm of possibility to ask for a little more evidence before we immediately jump to these racist incidents are entirely supportable on the basis of allegations alone. Andy, thanks so much for your coverage, and thanks so much for joining the show. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for bringing attention to it.